On November 4th, 1953, Brevard County threw a party for a hole in the ground. 5,000 pounds of fried mullet, 300 pounds of baked beans. Bands playing, flags up, a U.S. Senator standing at the podium calling the new channel dug out of the marsh our nation's port for inner and outer space. That channel became Port Canaveral. 70-some years later, on that same stretch of reclaimed shoreline, sits a 7-story building built with the exact same ambition and almost the exact same language. Right now, nobody's allowed inside it, and they haven't been in over 4 years. Exploration Tower opened in 2013, a $23 million bet that Port Canaveral needed a landmark worthy of its ambitions. 7 stories wrapped in white panels meant to evoke the sail of a ship, standing where cruise passengers and space tourists cross paths on their way to somewhere else. Inside, a gift shop, banquet halls built for weddings and conferences, a run of interactive exhibits tracing the region's maritime and space history. And at the top, an observation deck with a straight sight line to Cape Canaveral Space Force Station and Kennedy Space Center. Abby and I made that climb via elevator more times than we ever counted. From up there, the cruise ships looked like toys pulling out past the jetty, and on a clear morning, you could watch a rocket leave the planet from the same spot. Not many places let you take in both frontiers, sea and sky, without moving your feet. For a while, that was the pitch. Come see the ships, come see the rockets, come see both from one rooftop. The pitch never quite paid off. Across its first 9 years, the building lost more than $2 million. The pandemic shut it down for a while. The observation level opened for a time, then in 2022, the port shut it down for what officials called a waterproofing and maintenance project. That project finished a while ago. The doors never reopened. All these years later, the numbers explain the silence better than any press release could. Simply keeping an unoccupied building maintained runs the port roughly $250,000 a year. Actually running it with a staff and a full event calendar cost even more. Port CEO Captain John Murray put it plainly. When the tower was staffed and open, he said there wasn't enough business volume going through there to cover it. Any company willing to take the space on would owe an estimated $800,000 annually in rent. And Murray has noted a second problem baked into that number. The kind of small operator willing to gamble on the building is rarely the kind with the cash to survive a slow season. Between those two figures sits the whole stalled negotiation. Cheaper to leave it dark than to risk operating it again, and too steep for most tenants to gamble on. At the July 1st Commission meeting, the word demolition finally reached the agenda under an item one commissioner titled, without softening it, Demolition of Exploration Tower. One option among several if no tenant ever materializes. Port Commissioner Micah Lloyd pushed back hard. I want to assure the public, he said, that we are not tearing down Exploration Tower. That is not an option to me. Nobody voted on anything. The building stayed exactly as it was, standing dark, unresolved. A local foundation floated a different future in late 2024, pitching a renovation modeled on the Smithsonian's newly rebuilt Air and Space Museum, a project that raised $275 million and now draws 19,000 visitors a day in Washington. That vision would fold in tours of historic launch pads and the Apollo 1 Memorial nearby. It's an interesting pitch. It also needs money nobody at the port has committed to spending. Ask around Cape Canaveral and the building gets talked about like a neighbor everyone half remembers. Walkers who pass it most mornings shrug about its shape, one comparing it to a finger pointing at the sky. Not exactly a compliment. Others still see potential. A restaurant up top, maybe a bar with a launch pad view, something to justify the electric bill, and the real estate underneath it. Port officials say the structure itself is sound now, freshly maintained, ready for whoever signs a lease. What's still missing is a tenant, a plan, and a commission willing to commit one way or the other. Central Florida does this more than most places want to admit. Drive 436 or Old 50 through Orlando's outer edges, and the same story repeats on faded signage. An anchor tenant long gone, a parking lot cracking open with weeds, a marquee still advertising something that closed a decade back. Somebody broke ground on those lots with financing, a business plan, a ribbon cutting. Then the market moved, or the anchor left, or the money ran dry and nobody with the authority to fix it ever showed up again. Exploration Tower isn't a strip mall. It's concrete and steel. 7 stories of civic ambition instead of 1 story of retail. But the shape of the failure matches. Somebody with vision built something that outlived its own business plan. And once that happens, the incentives that got a building constructed rarely stick around to solve what comes after. Nobody gets paid to fix somebody else's abandoned dream. Plenty of people get paid to explain why it's not their department. It's not just Brevard County, and it's not just Florida. Malls, office parks, whole downtowns built during one economic moment and stranded the moment that moment ended. The question isn't why any single building empties out. It's why so many of us keep building the next one anyway, knowing full well how this one ends.